visualization tool. In this section, we look at how we can visualize data by using various bokeh charts. Okay. The first thing we need to do is install bokeh by using the pip or conda install commands. So if you are using Mac, open up your terminal, and for Windows users, open up your command prompt and install bokeh by typing conda install bokeh or pip install bokeh. Okay. Once you install bokeh, you can open up your Jupyter notebook and simply import bokeh and run it. If you don't get any error, that means bokeh is installed. Great. Once you install bokeh, let's go to the online documentation for bokeh. So if you simply type bokeh, and if you open the first link, it will take you to bokeh's official site. So here you see various kinds of graphs here. You can click on the gallery tab here and you'll see various kinds of plots using bokeh. And here, if you go to the installation, you have the conda install bokeh or pip install bokeh command. Okay. And if you go to the user guide, it will give you a nice quick start about various terminologies used in bokeh. So we just installed bokeh by using the pip or conda install bokeh. Okay. And here you have various sections defining key concepts, plotting with basic glyphs. We'll see some of this, but this will serve you as a great documentation for finding out more about bokeh, the various methods used in bokeh. Great. So to start our discussion, bokeh has 3 plotting interfaces, and they are known as bokeh charts, bokeh plotting, and bokeh models. They provide high-level, medium-level, and low-level plotting interfaces. Okay. We'll start by looking at bokeh.plotting interface, and this provides a medium-level interface for plotting. And you can read more about those in the documentation here. So if you scroll down here, you have bokeh.models. It provides, as I mentioned, a low-level plotting interface. You can read more of it in here. Whereas bokeh.plotting provides a mid-level interface, and it's similar to or specific to, it's similar to Matplotlib's styling. Okay. And another terminology that we'll use is called glyphs. Glyphs are the building blocks for our plottings in bokeh. Okay. And we can display our output on HTML or on our Jupyter notebook. For that, we'll be using the output notebook. Okay. So for output, let me write it down here. We have 2 different kinds. One is output underscore notebook. The other one is outbook underscore file. So for us, we'll be using output underscore notebook so that our bokeh plots are displayed on our Jupyter notebook. But if you want, you can also use the outbook underscore file and then pass a name for your HTML file, and it will be saved as an HTML file. Okay. And again, if you want to read more about that, it's well stated in the documentation here. Output methods, you have output file for generating HTML documents, and outbook underscore notebook for displaying our graphs in Jupyter Notebook cells. Okay, so their documentation is really good. You can read more about anything that you are interested in. Great. Now that we have a general introduction to bokeh, let's go ahead and use bokeh.plotting interface and draw some basic scatter plots. Okay, so the first thing we'll need to do is import some libraries. What we'll need to import is this outbook underscore notebook, and then there is a method known as the show method that will allow us to show the image or plots, and we'll need to import a method known as figure. Let's do those. So from bokeh.io import output. So this is output, not outbook. Import output underscore notebook, and we'll also import show as I mentioned, and let's also import figure, and we'll import figure from bokeh.plotting interface. So from bokeh.plotting we'll import figure. Okay, we'll see that the figure will define our rectangular plotting interface. And there's another command called output underscore notebook. So this will help us display our results on Jupyter Notebook. So bokeh JavaScript successfully loaded. So now every time we run or use the show method, the result will be displayed in our notebook. Okay, so don't forget to run this output underscore notebook. So if you come into a situation where you don't see any graph in your Jupyter Notebook, you probably have not run this output underscore notebook. Sometimes if you are disconnected, you might have to run this again so that you load your bokeh's JavaScript. So let's see how we can draw some scatter plots. So the first thing we'll need to do is use our figure method to define some default parameters for our figure. So we'll call figure, and then we can pass the plot width and then plot height attributes. Let's do that. So plot underscore width, let's set it to be equal to 450. We can adjust this later on. And then for plot height, plot underscore height, let's pass, I think 350 is good for my notebook. And we'll save this in some variable. They use p in the documentation, so let's use p, but you can save it in any other variable, it doesn't matter. Now if we call our show method and then pass p, we'll get a rectangular plotting surface. Okay, so this is our parameter. Anything that we display, so this is our figure, and anything that we draw will be inside this rectangular figure. Okay, now that we have that, the next thing we'll do is we can call the marker that we want to use for our scatter plots. So the simplest one is, or the most common one is the circle marker. So let's call that p. We have our figure, and then we'll call circle on it, and then pass any points for our circle. Okay, where do you want those scatter points to be on your figure? So here circle means shape of your scatter plots. Okay, so let's pass points for our circles, for our scatter plots. So x and y. For x we can pass values, let's say 2, 4, 6, and 8. And for our y points, let's pass maybe 4, 3, 7, and 1. Okay, let's see what it looks like. Now we can call the show method and then pass p. Run it. Okay, here they are very small, but you see 4 points, right? 4 scatter points, 1, another 1 here, 3, and 4. They are very small. What we can do is pass some other attributes here so that they are more visible. One other attribute that we can pass is called the size attribute, and then we can pass some size so that our circles are bigger. So let's say size is equal to 14. Another attribute that we can pass is known as the line color attribute, and let's set it to red. Okay, now let's see what it looks like. So we'll call the show method and then pass p. Let's see what it looks like now. Okay, now our scatter plots are much bigger. You see the line color attributes, now they are red, and then our circles are a little bit bigger. And another attribute that we can pass is called the fill color attribute, and that fill color will fill the circle with different colors. So the default is blue. We can change that default value to some other color. Let's see that. Okay, let me paste it here. Let's change the size to 18. You can put any size that you want. So line color, we have red, and then let's pass the fill color attribute, and then let's change it to yellow and run it. Okay, here we have 4 scatter plots, little bit bigger. You see the shape of them is a circle. That's because we used circle markers, and now we have filled them with yellow color. And another thing you can see here is for our plot we have all these things that we can use to modify our bokeh plots. For instance, this is a pan, box zoom, wheel zoom, save, reset. And if you have any questions, this will take you to the documentation link. See, you can interact with your bokeh plots. You can move it around. If you want to zoom to a specific area, you can zoom in. You see here, you can zoom in more, and if you want to reset it to its original state, you can do that. So you can use any of this. You can save it as an output file. You can use wheel zoom. So you have all those various features here, different pans that you can use. So let me reset it to the original state. Okay, just to recap, we were introduced to bokeh in this lecture, and we mentioned that there are 3 interfaces in bokeh, and we'll be looking at the bokeh.plotting mid-level interface. And we saw that we could output our results on our Jupyter notebook or as an HTML file. And we saw how to draw simple scatter plots. And in the next lecture, we'll continue our discussion on bokeh plotting. Thank you, everyone.